Konnichiwa! It is I, Trunks of Steel. First and foremost, I'd like to let you guys know that I have been regularly streaming on Twitch. It is just kind of a better platform for me to get some content rolling out there, more convenient as a content creator. Anyways, I'm going to be here talking about my final thoughts when it comes to Season 8 as a whole. Generally speaking, when the season started, I wasn't really the most excited for it, even with Devil Dino, a new Vanguard. I am a D1 peak player currently, and I would consider myself a flex, which generally means I'm ended up playing Vanguard most of the time. But with that being said, I'm also just a huge Marvel fan. Not gonna lie, personally never knew Devil Dino before they came in on Rivals, so my initial hype for them was already on the lower end. However, when they did have their season, the season of 8 drop, I found them to be really freaking fun. So much so that they felt outlandishly like a Fortnite boss event or something. It felt kind of out of this game. It felt really odd. But then the next half they decided to freaking nerf the Devil Dino. I don't think he's as bad as people make it out to be. That's like a whole nother thing I want to kind of talk about a little bit when it comes to the community, is how people feel when characters are touched. But Devil Dino, I feel like is a pretty nice inclusion. It's a little bit of seems a little bit of like a feed pig if you don't know what you're doing. I'm not going to claim to say I know what I'm doing when I play him. I haven't played him a whole terrible lot. Like I'd say I probably have about maybe 2-ish, 3-ish hours on him. Nothing too crazy at all. I'm generally like rotating a lot of the heroes I play, so I'm trying to like get a good idea of where a fair amount of them stand. But the fact that Devil Dino actually received as many nerfs isn't as playable as he once was. I honestly kind of feel like he was a little too powerful in his initial launch. As somebody that does enjoy playing Vanguards generally, I felt like he was less healthy before the nerfs, because I mean, I could just be wrong in this. I don't really know. I haven't seen what a lot of people on the internet have been saying, which is like the general consensus. It's just kind of my opinion, but playing matches, it felt like if you didn't have a Devil Dino on your team, or you weren't mirroring it in some way, shape, or form, it was almost kind of just like you're not going to have a fun time playing the role. He's going to shut you down. But ever since those nerfs, he's either banned or we don't really see that happening as much. So it's kind of hard to tell, kind of hard to gauge when a character is kind of just still in the ban jail, unfortunately. Speaking of the ban jail, we still got Gambit too, guys. Like, I'm gonna save him. We're gonna talk about the new inclusions first, and then talk about some more of those changes. But Cyclops also being another addition for Duelist, and I was actually pretty disappointed that he came out to be another Duelist at first. Literally dread this guy's release, even though Cyclops is like my favorite X-Men member. I just kind of wish they gave him a little bit of the Gambit treatment and decided to take creative liberties to make him like literally anything but a Duelist. Nonetheless, we have one. And it's okay. It is what it is at this point. Over time, I've kind of felt like Cyclops is more so a little bit of a healthy addition to the game. I mean, I know I've seen a few things about people saying he's broken, this, that, and the other. It's kind of hard to know what I guess the general consensus is with that when it comes to the online community, though. People kind of complain about practically every meta we've ever had. I've been playing since Season 0, and I think Season 0 is when the game was at its like I guess healthiest, or whatever you want to call it, in terms of happiness. And it's literally because it was the utmost honeymoon phase. The game just came out, people were just excited to play. They probably weren't even thinking about meta and all that too much. I don't even know if there's like competitive available. Well, yeah, I think there was, but anyways, I digress. People were just playing for fun, man. Now it seems like people are on this game, they hate the game, yet they continue to log in and they continue to complain. And this is something I've noticed throughout the seasons. Like, it doesn't matter what's happening necessarily. if who you play isn't like the meta necessarily, you're not gonna have a fun time. You know, this game I think has had some healthy seasons. It rotates between divers, pokers, and we had that one flying season, which was honestly probably like my least favorite, even though I was a huge Torch enjoyer. But anyways, I digress. I feel like I'm derailing a little bit when it comes to Cyclops in itself. I like him as an inclusion because his beams just feel unique. I really didn't think they'd take that approach of just having him be like this massive kind of angle player, and you know, at first I thought he's just gonna be like a super juiced up version of like a Hela, Phoenix, a little bit of Moon Knight, and I guess you could kind of say that he is in a way, because he is gonna be doing some more damage than probably at least a Hela and Moon Knight on average. Phoenix is in a weird spot. It's kind of hard for me to completely gauge it because I've played Phoenix so much ever since she came out that my view on her might be a little biased, you know, because I have just more play time on her. Maybe it's only natural. I feel like she's a little stronger. I don't really know. I will say they freaking removed a lot of tech from her that she originally had. I kind of wish they kind of kept that, you know, like the melee combos and whatnot. But for a poke character, I feel like Cyclops is just really innovative, being able to freaking fly around and zoom around with his beams. I just really didn't expect that from him, honestly. And he grew on me, even though he's like still consistently in Banjo. I think he is a fine addition. This seems to be what might happen most of the time if a character's just slightly easier to pick up. We didn't see this happen with Black Cat necessarily, because I don't think people truly grasp the magnitude of what that character can provide for the games. Moving forward towards like some new stuff that they also have, I'm going to include the summer events here. I think it's important to continue to manifest hub worlds and like social kind of events in these kind of games. Keep like good, what's the word? I think I'm thinking of like morale, keeping good morale, good vibes, all that stuff. And it's really cool they were able to create this like whole new beach landscape. I've seen some stuff about like really special sand effects and whatnot, and it's just really cool that they put that much attention to detail in something as like to be honest with you, as small as that, because I don't know how many people are actually going to be in the hub worlds like that, but it is really cool that they're still there. Moving further with like summer events, dude, they gave us about 2,500 free units like throughout the span of season 8.5 at least, and I think that's absolutely massive. And I can't help but feel like a little bit of that is because they probably know people are a little upset that Cyclops is a duelist. Like, just the fact that we have another duelist so soon when a lot of the roster is just mainly duelists. Like, ooh, man, they gotta do something about that, dude. The balance is just unparalleled, man. I don't know the exact number, but there's like more than double duelists, I think, than the current amount of strategies we have. But this is something that might be inevitable in just most team hero shooters, honestly. You look at something comparatively to Overwatch, they have a lot much more damage than any others in the roles. I'd like to highlight just a few buffs. They did decide to buff Human Torch with his mobility, and honestly, I welcome it. I think Torch honestly felt the best at release, and then he went through this whole chain of being like mega buffed to the point where he ran that one flyer season that I was talking about a little earlier, and I'm just not a fan of that season, dog. And I love playing Human Torch. He is my favorite Fantastic Four member. But that just ain't it. And now he went down this whole rabbit hole of just being nerfed to the ground, change of a gameplay system. I still don't entirely rock with his new flying mechanics, but I do think he feels a better spot than he once was. Like when they did his mobility change originally, with like just having dashes and not being able to infinitely fly super fast around. Angela got a slight buff, I believe, with her, I don't know what it's called, but it's like her charge attack or whatever. and her shield value also went up a little bit. And I welcome it because I feel like she shouldn't have really received the nerfs to begin with, especially with Devil Dino running rampant. He is just a really good counter to her because she can't spear him, and yeah, just a lot of health, and she's just kind of there. Also, I'm glad they're looking at Adam Warlock. I don't think the buffs do a whole lot for him. I think he's just kind of a bad character with the way his kit is, unfortunately, or more so of how this game operates. It's not like he's fundamentally difficult to play, it just feels like you'll never get as much value playing him as some of the other currently available strategists. And that's just an overarching game design concern, honestly. I'm probably gonna like talk about more so in another time. And then there's the nerf to Black Cat. I tried to play Black Cat a few times since the nerf, and honestly, I couldn't tell you how I like feel about her really, because I didn't play her in comp when she was super strong, but I did play her a whole ton in quick play to kind of learn her and understand her, and she did feel really powerful there. And honestly, she doesn't, the few times I did play her to quick play since her nerf, she doesn't feel so bad as people are making it out to be, but that could just be me not being like the super good Black Cat player who's super experienced in her. If anything, with all of these nerfs, I would say that NetEase has delivered what people were kind of, I guess, complaining about, that she just power treats characters like Black Panther and Iron Fist. Well, let's take her down to their level. That literally might be what they did. I have no idea, but that's kind of what it seems like. Never see the character Black Cat being played anymore. Honestly, I've seen way many more Black Panthers, so maybe he's just strategically better. Kind of going back to when I was talking about the Adam buffs and how it just doesn't feel like it's going to help all that much with the current landscape of strategists. I'm kind of curious to see how they're going to move forward handling a character such as Gambit. I mean, we've seen him get just ample amount of nerfs in his neutral kit, while they've only recently addressed his ultimate, which is probably the main thing that really should be receiving nerfs, and this man's still perma-banned. I'd really like to play as Gambit, so hopefully they just tune this out, man. If I were them, I'd truly just reduce some of his ultimate capabilities and slightly buff up his base kit. But I ain't no game designer, man. I give that crap up. Not for NetEase, man. Not for this game. If it was up to me, if it was up to me, I'd probably give everyone some kind of heal ult because of the way this game's landscape is, or I'd completely rework the way all heal ults work. Like from characters like Luna Snow, Cloak and Dagger, yada yada yada. Because that crap is just too powerful. But I'm digressing a little bit. I think that's a video for another day. Anyways, when it comes to the meta as a whole within this season, I think it's in a pretty nice spot. Believe it or not, like, I might just be positive thinking, freaking whatever the positive pill, whatever that crap's called. But the game feels like it is in one of the best spots it has been in a long time. In my opinion, the only other time I think this game was like just a really fun time was at the release of Rogue and/or Gambit. That was a really nice season. The Deadpool season was also pretty cool, not gonna lie. But initially, I kind of hate this season, man. I'm not gonna lie, but it grew on me. It really did grow on me. And I do appreciate the free unit event. I can't help but just kind of keep praising that. I know it has nothing to do with the gameplay necessarily, but the fact that you are giving about $20-ish worth of currency allowed to be used in your game. Yes, I know some of the units are limited time. I still think that's just a very positive thing that you can do occasionally for people, you know, just getting cool skins or whatever. And in fact, I'm such a fan, it honestly would bump up my rating. I would give this season, because not everything's perfect. There are still characters I feel that are just kind of unusable. They're kind of just bad, and they're kind of taking up a slot, and people still need reworks. This is not a perfect season by any means, but I think it's probably a little bit almost the best of where we've been in a while. I would give this season a solid 7 out of 10. Alright, thanks for watching, guys. If you want to catch me doing some more content, I highly encourage you to check out my Twitch channel. Link in the description below. Maybe trying to pump out some more videos here and there. I got a bunch of ideas brewing, man. I just don't know if I have enough freaking time to see it all come into fruition. Anyways, hopefully this video comes up before 4th of July. Hope you guys have a good 4th of July and a good one. Sayonara.